those friends. Hey, it's JJ Conway. I'm super excited to be here with y'all tonight. I'm looking just to make sure that I'm trying to make sure that all of the channels that we're broadcasting to is up. But while we're waiting to make sure everything's good to go, just a quick announcement. We're going to be talking about purpose, vision, goals, part 2 today. But before we do that, I want you all to take a look at my T-shirt that I'm wearing today. It says Project 22. This is a local charity that connects veterans with opportunities for camaraderie and also provides similar assistance to what I do with ERAF County veterans. They find outings and meetings and things, and sometimes they assist with rent money and things like that. ERAF County veterans, we provide camaraderie, we provide rent, we provide electric bills, bill payment, food, things like that. We also transport people to their VA appointments. For those of you who don't know, I live in rural Texas, and the nearest VA, so my doctor, the nearest VA doctor is 45 minutes away, and the nearest VA emergency room is 2 hours away. So a lot of times the vets don't get the medical care they need because they cannot make it to their appointments. And that's something that ERAF County veterans does. But one of the things that I like about Project 22 and the reason I'm supporting them tonight is because this weekend is Project 22 weekend. At our local football game, they will be honoring veterans of one of our local hometown heroes, and they will also shed awareness on the fact that 22 veterans lose their fight with suicide every day, y'all. And so these people, I'm a veteran, but I look at the group, especially those who have gone before me, those who fought in Korea, those who fought in Vietnam, those who fought in the first Gulf War. So much sacrifice has been made, so many things that they didn't know what they were getting into, things that they breathed in, situations they were put in. Nobody knew the impact of the nuclear weapon when it was used. And similarly, for every war that we've had, every skirmish that we've had, every one of these situations, veterans have been put in harm's way, and even the government didn't know how much harm's way they were being put into. So if you are interested in supporting, I'm going to throw up I guess I don't need to have the Calendly there and the Calendly there. Well, I'm not going to change it now. But a lot of times the government doesn't even know. And then 20, 30 years later, like, oh man, hey, guess what? That was an issue. We're going to do something about that. Like, they're just now allowing people who served in the first Gulf War to get, VA disability credit for what they smelled and took in the burn pits. And anybody who's a veteran who was around at that time, like I was with the first Gulf War, one of the things that I wasn't active duty at the time, but I was in the military circles. My parents were in the military, and I was in high school. But anybody who's been around the military since then, that skirmish, that war was in 91, and I joined the military in 93. One of the things is that people who came back after smelling all those burn pit and chemicals and all that stuff, they came back with complex mental issues, complex physical issues, complex fungal and viral issues that never go away. So we got to take care of our folks that took care of us and kept us so that we can have the level of freedom we have. I know this country is not perfect. In fact, I was at a class earlier today, and they asked me the question, and I was like, well, it's taking a lot to get used to living in rural Texas and understanding how people who look like me are treated. And this is a room full of what I think is all white women or women who could pass for white. And it didn't occur to me that they didn't know what I was talking about. And they were like, oh, no, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. Because I had been talking about all the weight that I've put on since all the things have happened. And I was like, no, that's not what I mean. I mean how racist it is out here. And it was just like the whole room was like, whoop. And I thought, oh, this is going to be this. I got to learn to have a filter. But you asked for my opinion, and so I gave it. And so we got to understand this country does have its faults still. However, at the same time, this country is the best country I know of to build wealth, to build legacy wealth that you can pass on from generation to generation. and to be able to do so and have the freedom and flexibility to own property, pass on property, retain property, and really set your generational bloodlines up for wealth and success. All right. So this is the best country that I know of to quickly build wealth, get out of debt, and live an abundant life. So all right, what we're going to be talking about today, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. What we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be doing part 2 of Purpose Vision Goals. If you did not watch last week's Purpose Vision Goals, I encourage you to go out to my YouTube channel. That's YouTube/C/JJ Conway. Actually, they're using @ symbols now. So you can go to YouTube and do no, not JJ Conway. Ooh, JJ knows the way. At JJ Knows the Way. You can go and do that, and you will get access to part 1. And we spent a lot of time talking in part 1 about why a lot of these purpose statements that we go to the conferences and we do the rah-rah, and we're so excited about all that. We really dug into why a lot of that doesn't work. You come home and life happens. And what we really need to do is create an overarching purpose vision, a purpose statement for our entire life, not just one little piece of it, not just the business piece of it, but the entire life. And so that's one of the things that we talk about. Okay. And so let me review really quickly. When we talk about a purpose statement that covers our entire life, we're not just looking at money. I want to make money. And now look, I want you to make money. If you want 7 figures next year, I want you to write that down by December 31st. I will be making X number amount dollars per month or X number of dollars per year. I believe in real concrete goals. I believe that when we put out what we really want and we're specific about what we want, we are giving the Lord something to work with. And so I really believe that. My favorite book says, speak those things which be not as though they were. Those aren't just vain words. It's a philosophy to live by. When you speak those things, and you don't have them yet, but when you speak them over your life and you believe that they are yours, you begin to walk in the energy of that. And when you walk in the energy of this, you basically holding an image. One of my former mentors used to always say, hold your image. Create the image of what you want your life to look like. Create the image of what it is you're going to be doing, how you're going to feel, what clothes you're going to be wearing, what it's going to be like to be on that stage, what it's going to be like to drive up and down the road, stopping at all your shops and collecting those checks. Like, really dream about that down to the nth detail. What kind of car you're driving? How does it smell? How does it feel? And when we create all that vividly and we focus on that, it allows us to transcend today's problems. It allows us to transcend my check engine light came on. It allows us to transcend my son failed a test. It allows us to transcend my daughter refuses to go to college that I've worked so hard to get her into and that I've scrimped and saved to be able to afford to. Right? It allows us to transcend all of that because it allows us to focus on our purpose, not our present situation. And if you've ever done any work with psycho-cybernetics or Think and Grow Rich, one very, very common thing that you will find in all of these kinds of turn of the century, how to build wealth and get out of the poverty you've been in books is get a purpose and make decisions according to that purpose, not the present situation. So, and also another thing about having an overarching purpose for your life is it allows you to very quickly filter out the things that you don't need to have in your life. So if my purpose is to equip God's people and to change entire communities from poverty to prosperity, when you come to me with your hand out asking, can I hold 100? That's not aligned with my purpose, because my purpose is not to be your bank. My purpose is not to be your lender. My purpose is not to be your genie. Rub the genie and get the money. That's not my purpose. My purpose is to equip you. So if you come to me needing something, I will create a pathway for you. I will create a pathway for you to earn in my business. I will create a pathway to have you on the platform and you have something of value to offer, to sell, or to be donated to. So many people come on and they're giving of their heart and their intelligence and their spirituality, and people give to them just to give. They're not even selling a course. They're just like PayPaling them the money. One of the tenets of the of the what is it called, the spirit of opulence, which I know opulence has a bad connotation in today's world, all right, but back in the time when he wrote it, what he meant was abundance. So I feel like we need to kind of retake that word back. But one of the keys of building wealth is not to fret about what you don't have right now. Because if you don't have the money, it's not to just go give the money. I know. You're supposed to go big or go home. If you don't bet on you, nobody else will. The way you're supposed to, this is what they say at all the meetings, right? Show your faith in yourself by flapping down that plastic and showing the world that you believe in you. I get it. I get it. I get it. But guess what? Most of the people who make money in that back of the room, usually it's the people selling you the class. All right. So what I want you to do, if you don't have it, I don't want you to give it. If you don't have it, I want you to give of your other forms of abundance. And when you give of your other forms of abundance, then others will give their material abundance to you. It's an exchange. It is the concept of givers get translated to a world of somebody who's trying to rise up. So I give to you of myself, you give to me of your money. It's the exchange. And when you are offering value, people want to be a part of what you're doing. And guess what, y'all? Those forms of abundance, they translate right into what we're talking about with a purpose statement. So we're talking about spiritual abundance. We're talking about abundance in your primary love relationships. We're talking about abundance of health and fitness. We're talking about abundance of excuse me. Hold on a second. Wait, which ones did I say? We're talking about your spiritual abundance. We're talking about your health, your physical health abundance. We're talking about your love relationships abundance. All right. We're talking about your freedom of time and space and money, the flow of freedom and money, the time of money, the flow to be able to do what you want to do, to be able to take that recuperating trip if you want to be able to take time off to serve in the community, to be able to take time off to go help a friend in need. That's freedom and flow of freedom and time and money. And that is a form of abundance that a lot of us don't have. And so we want to have a purpose statement for our life that covers those same areas of abundance to help us filter out all the noise and allow us to make decisions quickly. See, another tenet of wealth building. We talked about one of those. Successful people, they make their decisions according to their purpose, not their present situation. Another tenet of wealth building is successful people make their decisions quickly and hardly, if ever, change them. Unsuccessful people, poor people, sickly people, broken-hearted people who bounce from one bad relationship to another. Oh, y'all, spiritually deprived people who know there's more out there, but they just don't feel like they can get themselves to seek it or to be a part of it, tend to make decisions very slowly, if ever, and then change them frequently. So I'm going to ask you which one of those descriptions is most closest to you. And if you find yourself in the camp that hems and haws and you're not sure, and I want to make sure I make a decision by committee, I got to ask my sister, my bestie, my grandma, and my mama, and I got to get them all on one accord to support me, or I'm not going to move out. Oh, no, no, no. It is time to take charge of your life and create your own purpose, vision, and goals that allows you to stand up on your own 2 feet and obtain every ounce of the abundance that is designed for you to have. So those 5 forms of abundance, again, we're talking about spiritual abundance. We're talking about relationship abundance. We're talking about our health and fitness. We're talking about the flow of freedom of time and money, which is our financial abundance. Oh, I left one out, y'all. We're also talking about our personal growth and development so that we are not stunted in our self-expression and our self-awareness of who we are. It's very, very important to have a personal growth plan. And you might say, well, JJ, I don't know anything about a personal growth plan. I got me a business plan. Some of us even have a child rearing plan. Some of us have a wedding book plan. Like we already got our wedding picked out, but we don't have a spouse. We don't have a future husband or a future wife to put in the plan, but we got the plan. We got all kinds of plans, but do we have a personal growth plan to make sure that we are always getting better and better and better, to make sure we're always climbing higher and higher and higher? Well, guess what? If you don't have a personal growth plan today, you are in the right place, because every Thursday night at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, you can come right here to wherever you are watching me on all these different channels that we're broadcasting to, and it can be part of your personal growth plan. Now, I didn't say it in the beginning, so I'm just going to say it now. If you're listening to this as part of the Purpose Vision Goals training, or if you're listening to this as part of the Building Wealth Together podcast, I encourage you to join us on Thursday nights. Every first Thursday, so that's going to be next week, is our fireside chat where you can ask me any question about money and business. Every second Thursday is our 7-figure business building, where we look at how you can create multiple streams of income so that you can really craft the life that you love. All right. Our third Thursday is back to our roots. We're building wealth together started. It's real estate 101. Every month we look at another 101 topic for real estate investing. All right. And every fourth Thursday, which was last week, we do our empowered entrepreneur. How do you become the person that attracts and attains and retains the things that you want out of life? See, it's not just enough to make the money. It's not just about how much you make. It's how much you retain and how much you put back into the market working for you. All right. And that's what we work on the fourth Thursdays. And then the fifth Thursday is a wild card. And last week, I got into Purpose Vision Goals, and we got to like 50 minutes, and I was like, wow, I haven't even gotten off of purpose, and I barely scratched the surface. It was a good training, y'all. Y'all need to go out to my YouTube channel, and y'all need to watch that thing. And you know what? While you're at it, wherever you are watching me at, if you will just subscribe, you'll be helping a sister out. If I'm blessing you with my teaching and my training, I'm blessing you, I'm giving to you, I'm providing some good value. Help me provide more value to others. Help me uplift others. Help me change communities, y'all. Help me empower young people that look like me in order to rise out of poverty and walk in prosperity by hitting that like, hitting that subscribe. And if you would be so kind and so bold, I might even ask that you do a share and share this on your profile in your social media, or text it to 2 or 3 friends that need this information, y'all. You would be doing me a solid, and I would greatly appreciate you. All right. So if you want to dig into these concepts, I got a special treat for you. Next week, Wednesday, that is the 5th. Let me check the calendar. Ooh, y'all, should have put it up before I said it. Yeah, that's the 6th. That's the 6th of September. We will be doing a workshop, a Purpose Vision Goals 2-hour workshop, and you can find that at the link there underneath my name. It's also scrolling at the bottom, calendly.com/JJConway/PVG for Purpose Vision Goals. That way we will sit down and we will actually craft your purpose statement. We will craft your very powerful purpose statement right there. And sometimes these change. 5 years from now, you're in a different place, and now you're up leveled, and your goals and your vision and your purpose might be up level. When you take the step, then more unlocks, and you take the next step, and then more unlocks. Okay. But for now, we're going to craft that thing. We're going to look at your word choice, because words matter, y'all. We're going to look at how you put them all together. Y'all, it's going to be so good. And at the end of the workshop, you're going to have a defined purpose statement. You're going to have your vision. You're going to have some goals. And I'm not just talking about SMART goals. Don't get me wrong. I like SMART goals, but I'm going to talk about powerful goals. All right. Woo, yeah. Okay. So we talked about purpose last time. And so, we want to make sure that we understand what our purpose is, and we want to combine purpose in all those 5 areas. So for example, with my business, y'all know we're in the football season. It's my son's senior year. He is in his 8th school, and I have already declared it. I am here for everything that he's doing, and I am not going to go fly across the world and miss important days of my son's senior year. Not only that, I got a precious little one, y'all. He is very, very rambunctious. He is killing it in the second grade. And you know what he likes to have at the end of the school day? He likes to get picked up by his mama and have some mama and cubby time. And you know what? I'm here for it. I like to say, not that I retired from the Air Force, but I got promoted to full-time mom. And I'm here for it. So if I'm here for my family and an opportunity comes along that jeopardizes what I promised my family for this season, for this fall semester, that mom's gonna be home and I'm gonna focus on the boys, especially the senior. If something comes along that jeopardizes it because my purpose statement includes nurturing my family and honoring my family alongside me on this entrepreneurial journey, then I know the Lord did not send you that opportunity to give to me, especially if it has a high price tag, y'all. Because right now I made my commitment and I covered it with some prayer and I made my decisions. And these are the decisions, and they have been very profitable in my life. Not profitable with money, but the money still comes. Not profitable in the eyes of people who want to profit off of me, but the opportunities still come. Not profitable from the outside eyes that look at how many events that you attend. Honey, you can attend all the events you want to, but if you're not making any money, what's the point? Oh, I got to get exposure. You cannot pay rent with exposure. Not if you're renting one of my properties. I'm going to need some money. I might take some Bitcoin, but I'm going to need some money, honey. And so we have to look at what we measure our standard by. That doesn't mean that next spring I'm not going to be hitting it hard, back on the speaker circuit, going to all those events again. Oh, and that doesn't mean that I don't have the two that I already told my son. I always go to this one and I always go to that one. I've been going to this one and that one since you were little hot. I've been going to one of them since they had me to speak that year, and I couldn't even afford the hotel, y'all. Because for those of you who don't know me, when I got divorced from my oldest father, I was $800-something in debt. Okay, and so I had to learn how to hustle, and sometimes some opportunities come, and I couldn't take advantage of them because I was not financially equipped. And what I found out later is if it wasn't in my hand, then it wasn't for me. But this particular opportunity came along, and I said, well, I'm not going to pass this up. This will be the biggest stage of my life, y'all. I found out those hotel rooms were like $350 a night. I was like, woo, okay. Well, I've got friends in that town. I had friend number one. I had a backup plan, and I had a plan C, y'all, because at that time I was single. And one thing you might not know if you married or if it's been a while since you've been in the dating pool, single people are fickle. Single people are always chasing the bigger, better deal. So if you're going to stay with your single girlfriend, you better make sure you got a backup plan in case Mr. Smooth Honey comes along and asks her out. All right. And so I had some backup plans, and I didn't just have one backup plan, y'all. I had two backup plans, 3 plans in total. And every single one of them fell through. Couldn't get a hold of none of them ladies. Before the thing, oh, yeah, you can stay with me, you can stay with me, you can stay with me. Land in that city. Oh, I can't get a hold of anybody. Ain't nobody returning my text. Nobody's answering the phone. I said, okay, you know what? I'm here. I scraped by and got my points and was able to get a flight. I am not missing this opportunity. Y'all, I was going to sleep in the garage. And then I got there, and the garage was $95 a night. I was like, ooh, what am I going to do? And I remembered that there was a military base about 20 minutes away. And I said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sleep in this car. I'm going to sleep in the military base because it's safe. Y'all, I had my 2 dresses. I pulled them out of my suitcase. I smoothed them over the passenger side to try to get all the wrinkles out. And I literally slept on base. We'll go to the base gym because it opened up at like 4 or 5 in the morning. We'll go to the base gym, get a quick workout in, shower, put on my pretty dress, and show up at that meeting, like at that conference, like I belonged there, y'all. And I parked way back around the way where the cheap parking was. You feed the meter every 4 hours. Y'all, I had to do what I had to do. I was not passing up that opportunity. Okay. And so some of us, when we make decisions according to our present situation, we pass up opportunities. Oh, I ain't got no money. It takes money to make money. Well, yeah, you know what? If you have money and you have something good, you can pour it into advertising. You can pour it in that and fan that flame really, really big. But if you don't have the money, you don't have the money. The opportunity The opportunity can still open up for you. You just got to find the creative way to walk through those doors. You may not walk through those doors like everybody else, but once I got in that room, didn't nobody know I was sleeping in my car? Now, if they had also parked in the cheap seats, they would have looked in and said, "Huh, she's got her dresses and all her clothes laid over her car. I wonder why she has all that stuff laying over." It was like 3 dresses, y'all. That was when I was smaller and you could get the cheaper dresses. Anyway, the opportunities come, and when you know your purpose, it's easy to make the decisions. And so I really want you to go, and I want you to watch that training from last week if you did not come with us live. Okay. So once we have our purpose crafted, and it encompasses all of the areas of our life so that we're not neglecting one. Okay. Then what you can do is then think about, how can I really love this purpose? Like a little newborn baby that's been placed into my care. How can I nurture it? How can I bring it into life? How can I, just as life was breathed into me, how can I breathe life into this purpose, into this dream? How do I take the energy? Now, this is big, y'all. This is deep. If you're a note taker, I want you to take notes of this. How do I take the energy and the excitement of this dream and of this purpose and transmute it into the energy required to get the job done? How do I transmute the excitement and energy here and here into action that actually results in a physical equivalent? So you're excited about your dream, and you make those phone calls, and you finally get the big appointment, and you're going to go in, and you're going to pitch your coaching program. You're going to coach all these middle managers at XYZ company, and you're so excited about it. But if you don't learn how to transmute that energy, you walk in there, and all them old habits, all those old negative thoughts, all those old programming that told you weren't good enough, that you weren't nothing and never going to be nothing, all that rises back up. And if you don't take that energy and know how to transmute that into another type of energy, then you end up self-sabotaging all the time. And you wonder, well, why am I not succeeding? It's energy. So what our vision then represents, what our vision represents is our highest conscious awareness of ways for us to live and really, I mean, really, y'all, bring life to our purpose. See, the vision is not just the vision statement on the wall to make us all feel good and work harder, and so the boss can motivate us to work harder without paying us more. That is a type of vision. Most companies have a vision. This is our mission statement. Our mission statement is to make the best quality milk bottles. Our vision statement is mothers all around the world feeding their babies without gas, right? That's great. That's great. But that's not enough to move you from where you are to where you want to be. Because if it was, it would have worked by now. All right? And so you say, well, what should be on my vision? What should be on my vision? Well, here's the thing. If purpose could take a lot of shapes, then vision could take infinitely more shapes. And the only requirement for your vision is that it be in harmony with your purpose. Now, for those of you who weren't here last week, I'm not going to dig into this deep. You want to go watch the other video. But for those of you who weren't here last week, we talked about the difference between balance and harmony. Okay. And so balance is, what can I juggle? What can I trade? Harmony is, what decisions can I make that all the things that I'm doing are aligned with each other? Some may be faster today, some may be faster tomorrow, but they're all going in the same direction. And that direction is in the direction of my purpose. So the only requirement for your vision is that vision be in harmony with your purpose. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing. I know some of you are going to be like, but I just don't know how to make this happen. I just don't know how to make this happen. I'm going to ask you to suspend the requirement to know how. Suspend the requirement to know how. You don't have to know how. Put that in your back pocket and say, you know what? I'll get to that worry later. I don't need to worry about that right now. I don't need to worry about how. I don't need to worry about how. I just need to go with what is here in front of me as far as aligned with my purpose. What are some things I can do right now that are aligned with my purpose? And maybe I don't know how to do those things. Maybe I don't have the money to do those things. Maybe I don't know the people who can open the doors for me to do those things. That is not your concern right now. Your concern is, what are those things? The how will take care of itself. I promise you it will. There's a very, very interesting universal law called the law of gender. And what the law of gender says is that your vision is like sowing the seeds of your ideas into this fertile field of possibility. And when you have, well, that's not really what the law of gender says. Okay, let me back it up. What the law of gender says is that everything has a germination process. So you put a pepper seed into the ground, okay? It can take 75 days for that first little leaves to pop up. And if all you've ever planted was bean seeds, y'all remember those beans? Anybody else ever do this in your fifth or sixth grade? You take the paper towel, you wet it, you grab some beans, you throw it in there, you put it in a dark place over the weekend, you come back to school on Monday, and now you got little sprouts, right? Beans sprout real quick, okay? Peppers take a longer time. Tomatoes take a longer time. Every seed has its germination period. How long does it need good water? How long does it need good soil? How long does it need the sun beating down on it? Every seed is different, and how much it needs and how long it takes before those little seedlings pop up and then work its way up through the soil, and then the little leaves sprout out. Okay. Every seed is different. Every dream is different. And so your dream, according to the law of gender, it needs time to be sown. Those seeds need to be sown into the ground, and then they need to be sown into fertile ground, good ground to grow in, as somebody said once. And then they need to be nurtured and watered and sunlit and all the things before they can sprout up and become trees and begin, or plants, or whatever they are, and begin to bear fruit. And so for us, when we are sowing the seed, we're not worried about the how. We're not worried about how am I going to harvest this right now. That's not the concern right now, because there's a whole lot of time between now and harvest. So it takes about 75 days or so for the peppers that I like to germinate, and then it takes a month or two or three before you get a sturdy enough plant that the peppers can start growing on, and then the peppers start growing. Y'all ever grow a pepper tree? If y'all have never grown a vegetable or a pepper tree or a tomato or anything like that, I encourage you to get a plant and grow it. And even if the seeds don't work in your environment, you can grow a plant that will work, and you can watch this happen. But with vegetables and fruit, it grows, and then when it's sturdy enough to produce the fruit, a little flower comes. And when the flower dies off, that's where the fruit and the vegetable come out. All right. And so the little pepper tree, it already took 2 months to poke up out of the ground. Now I'm going to have to wait another 2 months for the little flowers to come. And then the peppers finally start to grow. But when the peppers start to grow, guess what? They're green. They're not red or orange or yellow or whatever it is they're ultimately going to be. So I still gotta wait. They still need more sunlight. They still need more fertilizer. They still need somebody to make sure the bugs aren't putting them down. You got tomatoes. You got to put a little piece of cardboard around them so the cutworms don't get to them. Right? There's a whole lot of details between now and the harvest for you to worry about the details now. To worry about what needs to happen now. Don't worry about that down the road. Yes, I'm going to want you to consider and be strategic in your thinking, but I don't want you to be blocked by the lack of knowledge or understanding how the how will actually work. Okay. And so what you have to ask the questions is not how on earth is this going to work? How is this going to play out? How am I going to get the money? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Those aren't the questions. I'm going to ask you again. I asked it a few minutes ago. Please, please, please suspend the need to know how. Because if you will walk according to your purpose, and you will create a vision according to your purpose, and you will create goals aligned with that vision that's in harmony with your purpose, I promise you, the doors will open when you need them. And either the money will be in your pocket to do whatever it is you need to do, or somebody with the money will show up, or somebody with the resources, so you don't even need money, will be there at the right time in the right place. The reason we don't get to the right time in the right place is we're so wrapped around the how. We're so wrapped around making sure that we don't look bad. We're so wrapped around making sure that petty sister so and so over there can't laugh at us and see us fail. We're so wrapped around the mantle of, I'm not going to be the next this or the next that. I'm not going to be the next statistic. I'm going to rise up. I'm going to this. I'm going to that. We're so wrapped up in those things that we actually don't move forward. And a lot of us haven't been moving forward for a long time. Oh, you've been working because you were doing like I used to do. Oh, I would rearrange my desk, and I would fix my decor, and I would put this more inspirational over here. And then one year, y'all, one year I learned that red is not the color of love. Red is really more like a color of lust. I don't know if that's the colorology, whatever that is, but teal, turquoise, I'm not sure which one is which, but that turquoise color is the color of love. It's the love frequency. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And so when I learned that year, oh, I changed all my stuff to be teal, y'all. I changed all my stuff to be teal, turquoise, whichever is the right name for it. I changed it all, and I felt like I was doing something. I felt like I was doing something because now I was surrounding me with this color of love, and it was canceling out my negativities from growing up and stuff. But you can change your desk around all you want. You can rearrange your office all you want. But if you don't ever make a phone call and ask for no sales, you're not gonna have no sales. Okay. And sales are the lifeblood of your business. So you got to have sales. You do not, just like you can't pay rent with exposure, you cannot pay rent with a beautiful desk. I'm looking around at my raggedy old, very cluttered desk. My desk could use a little bit of cleaning. But you know what else? My business could use a little more calling. And probably so can yours. All right. So all we're asking with the vision is, will this thing move me closer to my purpose? Redesigning your desk for the 4th time this month is not going to move you closer to your purpose. Taking some action and putting some vision out there of what you want to achieve that's in harmony with your purpose and is going to allow you to actually move closer to that purpose. That's what we need to do. All right. So that's the only qualifier, because visioning is not about how. It's about the what and the why. Why do we need to do this? So I'm going to just make something up on the fly. Okay. If my vision, if my purpose is to empower economically disadvantaged youth. Okay. Now where I live, there's not a whole lot of people of my race. So I wouldn't necessarily make it racial like I have in other markets. Some of you've known me for a long time. But I might just say that I wanna empower economically disadvantaged youth, and give them hope and inspiration that they can have a better life. Right. And so I might say that that's part of the purpose. And I would add the other parts of the purpose to it, right? Like the purpose of my family and all my health and all those things, the spiritual growth. In the vision, I might say, well, one of the ways I could do that is to get some sports stars to come on out here with the cows and the ranches and the dairies and all that, and have them come on down here and give some workshops and encourage and maybe shoot some hoops or throw some footballs with these youth. Okay. So I'm working that out. Okay. Is that in harmony with the goal? Is that in harmony with the purpose? Yes, it's in harmony with the purpose. Okay, I'll put that on the vision. I don't know how I'm gonna find these people. I mean, I'm go Steelers all day long, but most of the Steelers players, the former Steelers players that I know, they're all on the East Coast. They're not out here. So I don't know how I would get somebody here. I'm not worrying about that just yet. I'm deciding, is this something in line with my purpose? And if it is, it's on the vision. So then my vision is a series of workshops where these kids can get inspired by sports stars that they know and love. Okay, that's on the vision. Maybe another part of that vision would be a series of of counseling sessions, group counseling sessions where the kids could talk about all the things that they're going through. Y'all, kids go through a lot today that we didn't have to deal with back when there was no internet and some of us still had party lines. All right. The kids are going through a lot today. And sometimes we as parents, those of us who are parents of teenagers, sometimes we don't realize it. Okay, but giving kids a safe place to talk is a wonderful, wonderful blessing to them. Well, one of the things that I learned real quick as a youth director, if you're gonna give kids a safe place to talk, you need to have somebody professional there to handle what comes out. Because woo, y'all, you give kids a safe place to talk, some stuff is gonna come out. So maybe that's part of it, and that's maybe an idea that bubbles up, and I say, is that aligned with my purpose? That is aligned with the purpose. Okay, that's part of the vision. I don't know anybody out here who provides child psychology like that. Actually, in real life, yes, I do. But just for the purposes of this, okay? So I don't want, look, I'm on the board of compassion counseling. I don't want anybody to get that wrong. But for the sake of this exercise, let's say I don't know anybody who could provide that service, okay? That's not the cut line. Whether or not this thing makes my vision is not determined by whether or not I know how to do it. What the cut line, whether or not this thing makes the vision, is will it be in line with my purpose? Will it move me forward to my purpose? Will it get me closer to my purpose? Yes, it will. Put it on the vision list. Is this good to y'all today? I can't see the comments right now because I've got my screen put in there. I can't really see the comments right now, but if you are liking what I'm saying, please drop something in the chat encouraging for me. Okay, I was gonna come up with something and it was all football related. Like that's not what we're talking about right now. Okay, but I really want you to get this, because so many times we come up with this and we have the big vision board, right? Like we have the big yacht and we have the big mansion and the nice car. Those things are great. Put them in front of you. Let it motivate you to get out there and kick butt and take names. All right. I'm all for it. Okay. But that car might be a fruit of my purpose. That car might be a fruit of living according to my purpose and walking in the vision and goals that will get me to my purpose. I like cars, right? I already have a list of cars I want to have. Cars plural. All right. So I, my son is something of a gearhead, and I'm glad, and I hope he stays that way so he can always help me fix up and fine tune my cars and maybe do a little racing again. All right. Okay. Well, I'll stop. But the car, if my purpose is to empower youth in economically depressed communities or from economically depressed sectors, the car might encourage them to come to my seminar, maybe. That's more of a business decision than it is a purpose or a vision. So do you understand why some of these things that we've been doing, some of these vision boards we've been creating, do you understand why they've only been taking us so far? They've only been taking us so far. I'm giving you something that will take you all the way. All right? All the way. Okay? And so the vision, I do want to say the vision is very fluid. It's the things that we will do to get to the why. And so I want you to think about that. And again, if you're really liking this, you're like, you know what, I need this in my life, I want you to sign up for that 6th September. That's next Wednesday. I want you to sign up for that workshop. We are going to go in here and we are going to make it happen for you. We're going to put it all together for you. Okay. And so then we look at that and we look at all the different things that we could do. Okay. And these are the overarching things. These aren't the details. Remember, we may not know how. I may not know any pro players, but what's really interesting. I'm going to tell y'all this. And I'm gonna, I'm gonna ask you to do me something. As we're in this, I want you to go follow my son's Twitter page. It's Wiggy WIGGI_D. Okay. And the reason I thought of that is because he wants to play football. He wants to play football in college. He loves playing football. And I've never been, okay. Y'all know I carry a Steelers cup. I can't say I'm not a football fan, but I've always been afraid of concussions and things like that. And my ex-husband he wanted to write it into the divorce decree that I wouldn't let him do gymnastics or football or things like that. And I was like, well, if he's gonna do them, He's probably headstrong like the both of us, and we're not going to be able to stop him. So if he's going to want to do those things, I'm going to want to put him in some coaching staff as a trained, supervised environment where he can learn properly. He can learn how to fall. He can learn how to take the hits. He can learn how to build his mental and physical resiliency so that when stuff happens, he can recover quickly and move on and not have a damaged life, right? Like I'm going to want that because he going to do what he going to do, right? And so when he was telling me the other day that he wanted to, a couple months ago, he was telling me he really wants to play football in college, but he's a little bit shorter and he's not sure that he really could do it. We keep coming into contact with people who are like, oh my goodness, he's going to go pro. He's got something. He's going to go pro. He's going to go pro. And so I said, okay, I want people to speak into his life. And y'all, you would be shocked at how many pro athletes I have met in the last 6 months. And I'm not just talking about because I'm on the volunteer staff of a sports con. So I directed the combine and I directed all the military volunteers who escorted our athletes. But I'm talking about I went to Power Networking Conference. I'm geeking out with other scientists like some of the first Black chemists in our nation were at the conference, and we're all geeking out and getting to know each other. And the nephew who's doing video for his uncle, who's, this big brain, is like a former NFL player. And I was like, look, this is going to sound crazy because you just make a little encouraging video for my son. Y'all, I didn't know when I set up in my mind that I wanted to encourage my son along the lines of this. I didn't know I was going to meet Trent Shelton. I didn't know I was going to meet Jen Welter. I didn't know I was going to meet all these different people that were willing to take my phone and record a little 30-second message for my son. You want to see those messages? You go out to Wiggy D. Wiggy_D, WIGGI_D on Twitter. All right. And y'all know some scouts for these colleges, y'all hook a brother up and help a mother out. All right. But I didn't know that. I just purposed in my heart that I want this child to be encouraged because he's got something. He's got character. He's got talent. He's got heart. He makes everybody on the team feel like they're part of the team, even if they're not doing that great. I mean, he's really talented. Okay. And I'm not just saying that because I'm his mama. It's on those videos. Some of those people have seen him, right? And so I didn't know how that was going to happen, but because I had the vision, which was in harmony with my purpose to grow my family as I grow my business, right? Because it was in harmony, when that vision came, I said, well, I don't know how that's going to happen, but you know who knew how that's going to happen? Y'all, the minute I began to think and focus on that, things happen in the background. Things happen in the background of spirituality in the universe to align itself to what I say I want. This is why when you have a bad day and you grumbling along, oh, this is a Monday, it's going to be horrible, it's going to be horrible. Guess what? You're going to get horrible. Because this world, the way that God structured the universe and the rules of the universe, some of them that man hasn't even uncovered yet. We don't know the mechanism by which this happens. We just know that it happens. What you focus on is what you get. Where your energy, where does it go? Where your focus goes, your energy flows. You focus on the bad day, oh, you're going to get a bad day. You focus on nobody wants to help me, nobody's going to help you. You focus on instead, I want this to happen. In the background, when you're not even paying attention to it, the doors are opening, the things are shifting. The man who wasn't going to go to this conference decides he's going to go visit his chemist friend and bring his nephew along to meet me so I can encourage my son. I know that there were other benefits for him coming. I know there were other purposes. I know there were other alignments in the universe to allow that to happen. But guess what? One of those alignments was to bless me and bless my son. And when you hold your vision, when you hold your purpose and you hold them precious to you and you focus on them and you say, this is what I want. This is what I'm called to do. This is what I've been gifted and talented to offer the world. It holding in your mind, but in the background, things are happening. This is why you don't have to worry about how. The how will work itself out, y'all. The how will work itself out. Okay. And so now, once you've got your purpose and your vision, it's time to set the goals. And so this is a very interesting part for me because I get a little frustrated, y'all. And I'll tell you what, I'm not trying to pay any more money to go sit down and have people tell me the same things that I've been hearing about how to do goals, because we all know that it's not really about the goal. Okay, because how many of you set goals and actually achieve it? How many of you well, I can't say that I did work out. How many of you said I was going to get up early and work out? I was going to get up early and clean my house. I was going to get up early and pray and study. I was going to get up early and cook breakfast for my family. I was going to get up early and actually get out of my pajamas before I get on Zoom. How many of us have made these goals, these commitments to ourselves, and then very next opportunity we have to make good on our goals and commitment, we didn't do nothing? How many of us said, I'm going to stop snoozing because I know it's not good for my psyche? It translates into lower levels of energy in business. So I'm going to stop hitting that snooze button. And what do you do next day? Snooze, 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 snooze. You snooze so much, you done lost a whole hour of productivity. Now, I know I'm not the only one who's done that, y'all. All right. So I want you to think about your goals and think about how good you are at setting goals and achieving them. And I have a challenge. Oh, you know what? It's on the old platform. So I'm not gonna be able to do an actual official challenge where I pay somebody for this. But I have a challenge. It's called the Persistence Challenge. And we read the chapter on persistence from Think and Grow Rich for 14 days in a row, right? And you know what happens? Most of us have to start over like day 2 or 3 because we didn't do it. Most of us have, if we didn't have to start over day 2 or 3, we end up starting over at day 10, day 11, day 13, y'all, because we are not in the habit of achieving goals. A lot of us have set goals and we fall short of them. But what we can do is we can tap into a time in our life where we actually did used to frequently set goals and achieve them. And if we never had that in our life, okay, and some of us haven't, and it's usually not our fault, okay? Some of us have had that situation where we've just, life, we try to do this and it got too hard, so we moved on to the next thing. We tried to do that and it got too boring, so we moved on to the next thing. We tried to do that and we realized this battle was really not something that was going to give me what I wanted anyway, so we moved on to the next thing. All understandable. But the thing that we have to realize is that goal setting and goal achieving is a skill. It's a skill. And goal setting is the intellectual process, okay? While goal achieving is a lawful process. Well, what do you mean by lawful process? Well, remember what I talked about, the law of germination. I talked about the seed. The seed goes into the ground, okay? If you take 10 seeds, that packet of seeds is going to have a statistical germination rate and time. So out of a packet of 10 seeds, depending on how long that seed packet has been sitting in the shelf at Lowe's or Home Depot, is going to determine. So the first year they produce it, you might get 90% of the seeds to germinate. The next year they produce it, you might get 80%. The year after that, whatever. I've kept seeds in a mason jar in my fridge that I harvested from my pepper plants. Those things still germinate, y'all. And y'all, it's been almost 20 years since I harvested those seeds. Okay. And so some things have a process. Now I know that back in the day when I had the brand new seeds, if I planted them, I would get 90%. Today, I probably get about 70%. Still not bad for 20 years. Look, if y'all like seeds, just put them in a mason jar, keep them in your fridge, all right? As long as they were good seeds to start with. And that thing has moved around with me too, y'all. I'm from military base to military base. So I don't know who taught me that trick, but I'm glad they did. So there's a statistical probability. If I plant all those seeds, I am not expecting no plants. I'm not expecting all the plants, but I'm not expecting no plants. Why? Because there's a natural law in place. Similarly, if I plant the plants and I give it adequate nutrition and sunlight and water, I am expecting that over time, and if I protect it from predators, I protect it from the bugs, I protect it from the animals, right? Especially your fruits. You got to protect the fruit from the birds, right? If I protect the fruit or the vegetables and the things that are growing, and if I give them adequate water and nurturing, the nutrients that they need and the sunlight that they need, If I do those things, it is a lawful process that they will grow into plants and they will bear fruit. Now, they may, if I skimp on the fertilizer because I'm a cheapskate, well, I might get 1 or 2 peppers. If I adequately fertilize them, I might get 1 or 200 peppers, okay? But that's not an intellectual process. That is a lawful scientific process, okay? What's another example I can give you? Okay. Um, you want to bake a cake and there's a recipe. I have my thing here. This is a wedding gift. This was a wedding gift I had. My mom had the older version for before it. This is a fantastic little thing. And in here are some recipes. This one here says with meatloaf. If I take 1 egg, oh, that's a long recipe. Hold on, let me find something easier. That's a long recipe. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is London broil, y'all. It's some meat, some oil, some vinegar, some salt, some pepper, some garlic. You marinate it, you cook it for a certain amount of time, and out comes a yummy London broil. Okay. If I follow the directions, it is a lawful process that what comes out is what is supposed to come out. Now, there may be some variations. If I use too much salt, it might be a little salty. If I didn't use enough salt, it might still be good, but it might go bad faster. Okay. Same thing with anything else in here. All right. How do you, okay, here we go. Here we go. How do you make icing? Do you know how to make icing? Icing is butter, powdered sugar, and a little bit of milk, and you blend that thing forever till it turns into icing. Well, if I use 4 cups of milk and the 1 cup of sugar, that's not going to result in any icing because it's a lawful process. It works according to natural physical laws. And guess what? The process of achieving your goals also walks according to natural laws. Okay. It's a muscle that has to be executed. It is a process that has to be executed. Okay. And so a lot of times, the reason we fail at these big, high dreaming goals is because we make these 5 mistakes that I'm going to give you. Oh, y'all, this is so good. This is so good. All right. Now, if you're taking notes, I want you to take notes on this because I know some of you are high achievers. Some of you have had great success at work. Some of you had great success in your business. Some of you had great success in real estate investing. You've had great success in your relationships. You've had great success in your parenting. I know that you're not here today because you failed in everything, So I'm not trying to say you haven't done a good job. When I learned about these things, I had great success. I made it to lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force, and I didn't know anything about these concepts. In fact, when I got promoted to lieutenant colonel, I knew how to lead people and how to get the job done, but I didn't know how to drive out the "you're not good enough" voices. I didn't know how to set these kinds of purpose and vision and goals for my life. I didn't know those things. Okay. I had great success, but I have greater success now. And so can you. All right. So 5 mistakes that we make in goal setting. Okay. First of all, we set what Bob Proctor calls A-type goals. We set goals that we already know we can do. Like, okay, I'm gonna get on everything. So I'm gonna build my business. I'm gonna grow my business. How am I gonna grow my business? I'm gonna set a goal to get on every Thursday night at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, and I'm gonna do a live. Y'all, I've been teaching Thursday nights at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern for like 9 years now. I know how to do that. Back in the day, it was over the phone, right? Now it's over StreamYard, right? But I already know how to do that. That's a goal. It's a task. It's a to-do list. It's a lot of fun. I love it. But that's not a goal that's going to stretch me and help me become more of the person I need to be to achieve the big dreams. Okay? The other thing that we sometimes do, that's another mistake, is we set goals based on a plan. What do you mean by that? You went to the conference, got the rah-rah, and somebody handed you the plan. This is what you need to do. And we made our decisions according to the plan instead of making the decisions according to our purpose. And so the things that are on our goals that we're saying we're going to do, they may not resonate in here. Or when we execute them, they may not resonate with the world. Now, when I was at Power Networking Conference and we had the live we had the live coaching sessions, I had somebody who I could tell immediately was a natural on screen. She was going to be fantastic, and I was so surprised actually when she said she'd never done anything like that before and she couldn't possibly go live. And I was like, I got out my phone and we went live right there at my booth. Y'all, I got my feelings hurt a little bit because she had more views in the first 5 minutes than I had on any of my videos. But I was like, look at the results. You're amazing at this. That was her. There's other people who have a lot of really good things to say, and going on video live does nothing for them. They get stage fright, and that doesn't mean they can't learn how to do it. But if you gave them the plan and said, well, here's what you do. I go on live every Thursday night. So what you need to do is you need to get you a live every Thursday night. That might be great, but it might impact their family. It might impact their health. They might have some health conditions or things where they don't want to be on the camera. It would be very arrogant of me to say I know the exact solution for you, right? So we're not worrying about somebody else's plan. We're developing our own plan based on our purpose with a vision that's aligned and in harmony with that purpose, okay? And with goals that fall out of how do we execute the vision, okay? The third mistake we make in goal setting, I like that. The third mistake we make with goal setting, I've already talked about this a lot, is we require that we have to know how before we're even going to begin. And it's understandable. And our culture is incredibly tolerant, as our culture pretends to be. We don't tolerate failure and ridicule very well. We don't ever want to do something if we don't know that we can absolutely knock it out of the park every single time, be completely perfect and completely profitable. That's just part of our culture. And we're going to have to suspend the need to know how. You know why? Because if you only do things that you know how to do, and if you only do things that you think you can do, you're not going to grow. And the only way you're going to achieve a grand purpose is if you continue to grow into that purpose. Okay? Now, Number four, this is a big one. Because if I asked you today, does this apply to you? Most of you would tell me, oh no, it doesn't apply to me. I know who I am. I am blessed and highly favored. I am a queen. I got my crown. Who is that? What is that? What is it? Oh man, she's a fabulous speaker. She's like, I got my crown up. I got my head up because I'm holding my crown up. And I know who I am. Oh my goodness, her name's gonna come to me. She's fabulous, y'all. We question if we're worthy. And for many of us who are professionals, who are doing a great job at work, are doing a great job being a leader in the community, are doing a great job at church, doing a great job with our family, whatever the situation is, we may not realize it because we don't say like that. It doesn't show up in I'm not worthy. Although some of us get a little self-aware and we call it imposter syndrome, but it shows up with self-sabotage. It shows up in our reluctance to really put ourselves out there and be transparent and vulnerable at times. It shows up in our reluctance to do the things we know we need to do, to make the phone calls that we know we need to make, to send the emails that we know we need to send, to actually go out there and reach out to people and ask for the sale. That's how it shows up. And when I say ask for the sale, maybe you're in a nonprofit. It's the same concept of asking for the donations. Maybe you're not even in either one of those, but we're talking about how do you advocate for yourself within your own family. Some of us don't even have a voice in our own family, y'all, because we question if we're worthy. This is the last one. This is the last one of the 5 mistakes that I'm going to cover today that we make in goal setting. We think that the purpose is to get. And I would challenge you that the most fulfilling and abundant life you are ever going to live is when we have a purpose that gives. As Zig Ziglar says, givers get. So it's not that you're going to have nothing, but the purpose of my life isn't how much can I accumulate. I can't even take it with me. I can leave it in legacy for others, but at the end of the day, you can't even control what people do. That's the hard part about being a financial planner is I see the other side of the will. I see the other side of mom worked so hard to give this and that to her family, and she sacrificed so much and never even got to enjoy the fruit of her labor because she wanted to give her kids these properties, or she wanted to give her kids this business, and she did everything she could to pass that on, and the kids don't care. They sell it for pennies on the dollar so they can go get drunk. Or, you have the good kid who sacrifices his livelihood in order to take care of mama in her old age, and mama promised him the house, and mama promised him that you could have this bank account, you could have that. But as soon as that death certificate is signed, sister and brother take it all away. They sell the house out from under him. They take the bank account and empty it before he can get to it. I see this as a financial planner because those are the people that come to me like, I need help. And I'm like, I wish you would have come to me a year ago so I could have told you how to put these things in writing and get your parents to put this and that in trust, you know? And so we think a lot of times in our life, we think that the purpose is to get. And I want you to get, I want you to accumulate, I want you to have that abundant life. I absolutely do. But these mistakes and the focus on getting instead of giving keeps us from being able to receive. So you've probably heard this before, but I'm going to just say it. If we're holding on to something, I'm holding on to this pen. If we're holding on tight to something and we're just getting more and we're just getting more and we're just holding on and holding on and holding on, our hands are not open to receive more. And I have determined in my life that I want to be a river, not a reservoir. I don't want to just hold all the water to myself. I want it to flow. I want it to flow through me into who needs it. I want it to flow through me into those who need to be helped. I want it to flow through me to those who can be lifted out of poverty. In so doing, I will also receive. In so doing, I have also received. Once I shifted my focus out of that scarcity mindset of how much can I get and shifted into the abundance mindset of how much can I give. Woo! Y'all. The purpose of the goal isn't always to get something. It is to become the person who can be, do, or have whatever it is that you want. And as you walk through this purpose, y'all, you're going to rise in levels of awareness. You're going to focus on what's more important. You're going to move from having to doing to deserving to becoming. It is going to be a beautiful thing. All right. And so that is the lesson that I have for y'all today. I'm going to take a check on the comments and see if there's any that I need to put up. Oh, thank you. Y'all are so nice. Oh my goodness. Y'all are so nice. Oh my goodness. Thank y'all for being on with me today. I am going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Again, I want to invite you to come to the Purpose Vision Goals workshop. Normally it is $199, but if you register today, it's only $39. Okay. And so when you go out there to that link, calendly.com/JJ Conway/PVG for Purpose Vision Goals, it'll take you right to that link. You can schedule it on your calendar and you can pay right there, y'all. It's so easy peasy. And it's an important next step. It's going to help you unlock greater levels of wealth attraction, greater levels of health, greater levels of profitable, strategic, and genuine relationships. Y'all, I'm telling you, this workshop is amazing and it's going to have amazing results in your life. With that, I'm going to go execute one of my key purposes, which is to spend time with my family. And I'm going to go spend some time with Mr. Man. That's all I have for you today. Y'all take care and be blessed.